So rephrase the question while we're online.
Got it. Yeah. So basically the question was, what's, I guess like the difference between just saying causality and karma, like good and bad karma. And the question I had for Dhammarato was before was, by now we know like good and bad karma, how it influences your future actions or your future lifetimes. That's baloney, because we know that there's no such thing as rebirth. There's no continuing existence. You're not doing this so that your future will be better and brighter. If you stockpile some good merit. But on the other side, let's say you give $1 out to somebody who's on the street sitting there, and of course you smile. It's great, for that moment. So there's definitely some cause and effect. And so the question here is, like, how do these two concepts relate, like cause and effect, and then the karma that?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start this with the question, Willie. Have you ever heard of a Rube Goldberg machine?
Yes. Yes.
All right. And what that is that you could easily do the end result. But instead, the Rube Goldberg machine goes through a lot of different contraptional kinds of activities,
Right.
including sometimes filling up a bucket of water that then gets heavy enough so that it lifts something up into the air like a book that then slides down a ramp going, so it's really big Rube Goldberg machines. Now, here's the point that I'm making about these Rube Goldberg machines is that while it was designed by a human, knowing the laws of nature and setting it up so that in advance, even though the Rube Goldberg machine is set up, it's either not been ticked off yet, it has not had that first cause, or that the causality that it's in this current moment has not reached down to the point where that book slides down the ramp. But the book is destined to slide down the ramp.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay? It's destined to do that because its destiny was set up to do that. All right? Now, in a way, with psychology, that happens with humans too. That instead of the law of gravity, and the law of gravity is the one that has the most operation within a Rube Goldberg machine. Gravity is the main operator in that. Things have to go up and they have to go down, and then they will go in a loop and that kind of thing. But the operational quality in humanity, we could call it, if we wanted to use it correctly, is the law of Kamma. But now, just like the law of gravity, we know within Newton's formula for the law of gravity that works for all of the planets and all of the spheres until they got to Mercury, and then they figured out, wait a minute, our law doesn't work on that particular one. It wasn't until Einstein came by and gave them the rest of the formula for them to get it right. But more or less, the law of gravity operates in the sense of the distance square. The mass between this and the mass between that are multiplied together and then divided by the square of the distance. Well, now you can see that with a flashlight. That you take a flashlight and you shine it at 1 foot and then you shine it at 2 feet, and you can see how much bigger that range is. So we're talking about it in the sense that the power basically fades because of the dispersion.
Okay.
The reason that they use lasers is because lasers try to keep that light as concentrated into one single beam as long as they can before it begins to disperse.
Right.
But it will eventually disperse.
Right.
So that even though that light is a pinpoint on the Earth, by the time he gets to the moon, it's going to have a spread of about a foot or more. Everything spreads out. Kamma and the results of Kamma spread out like that also. So that their effectiveness works at the square of the distance which means the sooner things happen, the more likely you are going to get results. And the longer it takes to get results, then the less likely that that action actually did what happened.
Okay, got it.
Now, basically, what will happen is that action in the Rube Goldberg machine will cause an effect. That effect will work along for a while until it causes another effect.
I see.
And then that one will cause along for a while until it creates another effect. And these effects, these cause and effects, are not guaranteed. Sometimes Rube Goldberg machines are set up and then win their own demonstration and they don't work. It falls along the way and then all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. They didn't set it up right. That's also the law that we have in the sense of the noble Dhamma. Everything is anicca. Those Rube Goldberg machines that were set up psychologically in childhood do not have to perform exactly the way that they were set up. We can make changes in there so that Rube Goldberg machine starts to fail in the mind rather than leading to dukkha.
I see. Gotcha.
You can stop those actions along the way, but the important thing is that inside that Rube Goldberg machine, the destiny of what that book does when it gets to that top and slides down that shelf, that is because that's very much like someone who is in the habit of getting angry, and when you give them something that they've had before that got them angry, you give it to them again, it'll make them angry again.
Oh, I see what you mean. So it's like the habit is like basically the ending part of the Rube Goldberg machine, right? Like it's been set up to do this, and you basically need to trigger. Right. And we're basically saying yes, that can be changed too, like how the machine is set up. Right. Got it.
We can set that up. So, but now here's the thing that we can talk about. Here's an example. The 14-year-old boy was standing there while his dad was shot and killed in the back, shot in the back and killed. He saw the man who did it, who then takes a hike. 7 years later, that boy, now 21 years old, goes and gets a gun, seeks that man out, and shoots him in the back without any warning. He sees him, he shoots him. He gets his revenge. All right? Now, how does Kamma and the law of Kamma play into all of that?
Right.
Was it the Kamma machine that pulled that trigger the first time or the second time? No. It was not a Kamma machine that did that. It was the cause and effect, and the cause that affected that boy's mind for 7 years. And there he is thinking about it. Boy, someday I'm going to catch that guy and I'm going to kill him. And he has that mind over and over and over again. I'm going to get that guy and I'm going to kill him. All right? And so one of the most sweet part of revenge is that you got to at least tell the guy and show him who you are and let him know why you're killing him. That's the sweetest part of revenge. But this kid didn't even go for that. He was so intent on killing that guy that as soon as he saw him, he killed him. He did not have a movie showdown.
I see.
But the important part was that man who shot his dad in the bank, at the bank, did not set a Kamma machine in motion that caused him to get killed 7 years later, as people who believe in Kamma machines do. For instance, if the son did not know who killed his father, he would have a different thing in his mind. Instead of revenge on his mind, I'm going to kill that man, into who killed my daddy? I've got to go find the man who killed my dad. You see the major difference? I've got to find him versus I know who it was and I'm going to get him.
I see. So, yeah, I'm trying to understand this like a little bit more. So, the reason why, so my understanding is that like the Kamma machine is basically like habits, right? So when
actually the Kamma machine is a joke.
Oh,
There really is no Kamma machine. There is cause and effect.
Right. There's only cause
And there are causes that we would consider good, and that there are effects they have that we would consider good. And there are acts that we will take that we would consider bad, and we then see the results of those and consider those results bad. But this bad and good is all a matter of consideration that is based upon feelings.
Right. There's really only just cause and effect. There's not really good or bad per se.
There's no goods or bads in there. It's just actions and the results of actions, and that's the cause and effect. And it rolls on, and cause and effect is actually quite complex in the sense that there are millions and millions and millions, billions, trillions. Take trillions and do it by the power of 10. And that's how many things are happening right now as causes, that 1 trillionth to the power of 10 to the 10th later in a short period of time are going to affect on many things.
Right. So,
and so what rolls on is like a huge flood. There's just so much happening.
It's so hard to, right. So that's why, it's impossible to predict, because there's just so many things out of control that are just going on. Right. I mean, in that example, what happened was, guy kills, and then, the boy sees it, and the effect of that is he planted that thought in that kid's head. And then basically for 7 years, that cycle, that cause and effect was spinning. And then the cumulative effect of that spinning, was he eventually goes and kills the dude. I mean, really, that's really what was going on. Got it.
Right. And we can understand all of those things as actions and the results of actions, but we don't have to add any magic.
Right.
No need to add magic to it. It's just cause and effect. This does that, that does this. A Rubik Goldberg machine times 1 trillion rolls on.
I see. Right, so it's just to understand.
Not only are there 1 trillion Rube Goldberg's machines in that room, but they start to affect each other. They're not independent.
Gotcha. Right. So basically, I mean, I guess like practically speaking, right? Like, I guess like maybe the lesson I would say to take away from this discussion is, there's only cause and effect, right? There's no, good and bad, and basically this stuff is impossible to predict. Like this, just chill out.
You can't. The Buddha calls that an imponderable. There is just no way to predict the future about what Kamma. You cannot take the results or the situation as it is right now and pin it onto an action way back when, because there were tens of trillions of interactions between that action and this result right now. You cannot go to the past and say that did that, nor can you say the results of this action right now is going to be that in the future. Rather, it's an accumulation of a lot of stuff. Huge complexity.
Gotcha.
Cannot predict the future.
Gotcha.
In fact, that's one of the major sources of human suffering, is they think that they can predict the future.
Future is a trap. Right. Gotcha. Yeah, okay. So I think maybe we can stop the recording here. I think that was the
question. You got that, all right? So we'll go ahead. Yeah. Enjoy, folks. May you not have any more action. May you come to the end of your actions.
Dhammarato, before we go here, do you mind if I think he just went to sleep, but I want to maybe would you maybe like just give like the Zen master a couple words just to
I'd love to, but you want to turn let's turn off the video and then
just turn off the light, and I want to see if I can catch him just to have him say hi. He may not, so no guarantees.
Okay.
I want to see.
All right. Well, I'm closing the video now.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the banner to go. Yeah. Got it.
All right.
Because I still see the.
No, the video is gone now.
Okay.
It has stopped recording.
Yeah, because I think for me it still says it's recording. Let me call again to refresh the thing on my side.
Okay, well, here it says, wait a minute.